Hello, friends. So today for Read Aloud, we're reading one of my favorite books by one of my favorite authors, Carle. This book is called The Tiny Seed, and you may have noticed that springtime is a time when a lot of things are sprouting and blooming. It's also a time when a lot of people are doing their planting. They're planting gardens of flowers or vegetables. So this book is actually, it's not really a nonfiction book, but it is full of real information. So it's written kind of like a story, but does have true information in it as well. So you can still learn from it. And since we learned a lot about how seeds grow into plants last week in the nonfiction book by Gail Gibbons, this book is a little bit different, but we're going to use it to help us with our science experiment this week. Are you guys ready? It is autumn. A strong wind is blowing. It blows flower seeds high in the air and carries them far across the land. One of the seeds is tiny, smaller than any of the others. Will it be able to keep up with the others? And where are they all going? So this little seed up here is the tiny seed. See how it's smaller than all the others? One of the seeds flies higher than the others. Up, up it goes. It flies too high, and the sun's hot rays burn it up. But the tiny seed sails on with the others. So this is an example of the true information I was talking about. If seeds get too hot, they don't survive. So this seed did not survive. It's not going to grow into another flower. Another seed lands on a tall and icy mountain. The ice never melts and the seed cannot grow. The rest of the seeds fly on. But the tiny seed does not go as fast as the others. Can you see it up here? So seeds that are too cold don't grow. That's why a lot of seeds sort of almost hibernate over the winter, and then when it warms up, they'll grow. Now they fly over the ocean. One seed falls into the water and drowns. The others sail on with the wind, but the tiny seed does not go as high as the others. Another bit of real information. Seeds cannot live with just too much water. They drown. One seed drifts down onto the desert. It is hot and dry, and the seed cannot grow. Now the tiny seed is flying very low, but the wind pushes it on with the others. So the tiny seed is way down here. This seed can't grow because it needs more water. If it's too dry and hot, it can't grow. Finally, the wind stops and the seeds fall gently down on the ground. A bird comes by and eats one seed. The tiny seed is not eaten. It is so small that the bird does not see it. So it's almost like a predator, right? The birds are a danger to seeds because that is their food. Well, some of them. Now it is winter. After their long trip, the seeds settle down. They look just as if they are going to sleep in the earth. Snow falls and covers them like a soft white blanket. A hungry mouse that also lives in the ground eats a seed for his lunch. But the tiny seed lies very still, and the mouse does not see it. So see this mouse found one of the seeds. Now it is spring. After a few months, the snow has melted. It is really spring. Birds fly by, the sun shines, the rain falls, the seeds grow so round and full they start to burst open a little. So remember, we learned about this in the Gail Gibbons book. Their seed coat gets softened and all that rain comes and they are sprouting. Now they're not seeds anymore, they are plants. First, they send roots down into the earth. Then their little stems and leaves begin to grow up toward the sun and the air. There is another plant that grows much faster than the little new plants. It is a big fat weed, and it takes all the sunlight and the rain away from one of the small new plants, and that little plant dies. The tiny seed hasn't begun to grow yet. It will be too late. Hurry! But finally, it too starts to grow into a plant. So let's see. I think the tiny seed is this one. You guys see it? And this is the one that gets crowded by this big fat weed here. It grows faster than the other seeds, and it steals all the nutrients from the soil and the water and the sun, and that seed can't grow. The warm weather also brings the children out to play. They too have been waiting for the sun and springtime. One child doesn't see the plants as he runs along, and he breaks one. Now it cannot grow anymore. So see how these seeds are facing lots of dangers as they're trying to grow into plants. The tiny plant that grew from the tiny seed is growing fast, but its neighbor grows even faster. Before the tiny plant has 3 leaves, the other plant has 7. And look, a bud, and now even a flower. But what is happening? First there are footsteps. Then a shadow looms over them. Then a hand reaches down and breaks off the flower. What kind of danger is this? People, humans are in danger. A boy has picked a flower to give to a friend. You guys notice that Eric Carle uses collage for his illustrations? He does the illustrations and the words for many of his books. It is summer. Now the tiny plant from the tiny seed is all alone. It grows on and on. It doesn't stop. The sun shines on it and the rain waters it. It has many leaves. It grows taller and taller. It is taller than the people. It is taller than the trees. It is taller than the houses. And now a flower grows on it. People come from far and near to look at this flower. It is the tallest flower they have ever seen. It is a giant flower. So this is the part of the book that you probably recognize is not an informational text. Have you ever seen a flower that's taller than houses? So this is the fiction part. All summer long, the birds and bees and butterflies come visiting. They have never seen such a big and beautiful flower. Now it is autumn again. The days grow shorter, the nights grow cooler, and the wind carries yellow and red leaves past the flower. Some petals drop from the giant flower, and they sail along with the bright leaves over the land and down to the ground. The wind blows harder. The flower has lost almost all of its petals. It sways and bends away from the wind, but the wind grows stronger and shakes the flower. Once more, the wind shakes the flower, and this time the flower's seed pod opens. Out come many, many tiny seeds that quickly sail far away on the wind. So does this page remind you guys of another page in the story? This reminds me of when we were learning about animals, because that's just like it happened in the beginning of the story, right? And just like we talked about with Gail Gibbons' book, plants have life cycles too, just like animals do. So this teaches us a lot about what seeds do and don't need to grow, and that's information that I would like you to store away in your head for today's science. All right?